All right, guys, I'm joined with the one and only Mr. KY guy himself. How you doing, man?
Hey, brother. How's it going, man?
I'm doing well. How about yourself, man? How are you?
Doing good. Here in the beautiful state of Kentucky, the sun is shining, birds are singing, and the babies are crying. It's all good, man.
Hey, man, that's better than raindrops hitting the ground every day. It's like it's either super hot here or it's going to just slightly rain all daggone week of the months.
Well, we've got a lot of rain. We've had a lot of rain here, even caused flooding, but it's all good, man. Now, sun's out. Everybody's rebuilding.
Yeah.
Part of life.
Hey, man, I love it. So, hey, man, if nobody knows who you are, tell them who you are, man.
I'm the Kentucky guy. I'm the creator and co-host of Against the Mat Wrestling Podcast. Actually, a co-host now. I've got a partner in crime over there. His name is Donnie Cage. We drop new episodes every Monday and Friday. We've got one coming out later today. I've got actually Ty Canning, for pro boxer, now coach.
Wow.
Used to be the Golden Glove heavyweight champion. He will be on my show this evening. So you guys get a chance to tune in and check that out. We're on all podcast, anywhere you can listen to a podcast, we're on there. So
all the links will be below, guys.
Yeah. And then I also host the Red Pill Current News podcast. That's basically a political podcast, but we have a lot of guests on that show. A lot of guests, and mainly they're like authors and holistic healers and things like that. So yeah, check us out. And we also have a website, political news podcast.us. It's a new website.
All right. Hey, congrats on that, man. Hey, you're growing and growing, buddy.
Yeah, man. We're trying to follow your step, man. Congratulations having your first episode back. I thought that was great, man. I watched it last week. The only thing is you got that El Grande wannabe showed up on there. I don't know what that dude's problem is. Here's the thing about this guy, right? So I did a little bit of research on him. Uh-huh. He goes around calling himself a pro wrestler, right? First of all, he needs a haircut because he looks like a girl. I mean, if you're gonna call yourself a pro at anything, at least look halfway decent, you know.
Uh-huh.
And then I watched some of his matches, and yeah, I'm more and more confident you got this. Yeah, even with the little fella running around in the wheelchair, you know what I'm saying? This guy doesn't have a prayer.
Man. I've even told him, I was like, I want all of them there. I want them all there. I've seen, like I said, I've seen some of his matches. I didn't watch. I'll be honest with you. I watched one match before I got him on the show, just because I was curious how I was going to present this up. So I knew there was something about him that obviously he wanted to get it off his chest. I'm sitting there thinking, hey, maybe he's just doing this to build up, to get his character out, just something, you know how the wrestler is. You're trying to get on the scene, trying to get your name around, whatever. And I asked around with a lot of guys, and I mean, I haven't been in the game in a while, but I know people. I know people from big areas and stuff, guys. I know a lot of people in this business. So it's like, I asked around. I was like, do y'all know who this is? And they're like, yeah, such and such, hey, he won the junior heavyweight title that you were in that tournament with Alex Kane, Fletch Malone, my boy Logan Stevens, which he won the whole thing. Shane Mako, like, there was a great lineup for that gauntlet that we put in presentation of that title. And Logan defended it for almost 8 months. And we found out that he won it. And I was like, so how did he win it? He's like, oh, of course he had to cheat. And so I looked at it. I was like, okay, so this guy is a one-trick pony. Like, he legit fights behind people, basically. He lets the guys take the scraps for him, and he finishes off. And I watched more of it. I was like, okay, cool. And I saw this Dylan Willer thing, which that's how we got in contact, because Dylan Willer came and contacted me, put it on Facebook, and asked me, will I have the courage of bringing El Nino to the show? And I laughed about it. I'm like, really? Are you kidding me? And I was, okay, cool. So I really was like, you know what? I'll get him out the way, whatever. needless to say, he kept coming in more, and I'm just like, gosh, how am I getting rid of this guy? Like, what is your major problem with me? And he's like, I want to retire you. And I'm like, newsflash, I've already retired. So what's you want to bring something new? And then he's like, no, I want to bring you out, end you in, and retire you again. I'm like, you know how many people have done that? You know how many people have asked this crap? Like, you're not the first one to get in line type scenario. Why would I even worry about you? I've seen some of your stuff. And, you know, it just got more and more. And then when he just started getting more personal, that's when I started like, okay, you're getting my attention. So, you know, all jokes aside, he got me to do it. And honestly, in a way, he won this battle because he got me to come out. And honestly, I'm happy about it too, because people don't realize I'm in my absolute best right now. Like, ring wise, I'm back in the ring a little bit more now. Nobody's seeing it until this match. I'm ready. I'm focused. If anybody don't see these training videos, don't think I'm not doing the part. I know what to do to get this ready. I know how to get there. And I'm telling you right now, when I go in there, it's not going to be good for this guy. Like, I'm legit ready.
What is this DWI? What is that? Down with ISIS? I mean, what is that?
Oh my gosh. I think it's Dylan Wheeler Incorporated. I guess that's because it's the guy in the wheelchair. That's his name. I guess they made a brand off of it. But, you know, I've been looking around on these guys, and I mean, I think that's another reason why some of these shows have been canceled. That, I mean, I'm not scared at all. I've been trying to get this set up. I was getting it set up more faster than I could have, because I was like, you know what, I want to really know if this is just a build. Like, is this guy really what he is? And he kept attacking me, and he would duck me. I mean, I found out he was supposed to be in a show in Panama. I went out to Panama. That's about a 4 or 5 hour drive for me from here. And he wasn't there, or he left early, or some other BS. And I'm just like, you kidding me? Like, you did this, got me out of my element. And I think what it was, and he can say what he wants, and I guarantee he'll probably be on this comment, and I'm ready for it, is I showed acknowledgement that I made focus that I was going to get back into this. Like, that was my main reason why I was hesitant to even think of this, because I had to put myself back into that element of that character that I was for 6 years. People don't realize when you're not that character for so long, it's kind of hard to come back. Like, I legit had to get back in the gear for it. I had to get the cardio back up. I had to get my shape figure back, which I was never out of shape. Everybody looks at me and like, yeah, you look like you could do it till the wheels fall off. But it's because I'm not in the ring. So it's like literally these different things I had to really focus myself, getting myself back in that mindset. And you're like, all right, you know, you're a little bit older, but guess what? You could still go. And that was one thing I had to hesitate for a while. I was like, you know, the bumps and all that. But he's about to find out. He's going to find out real soon.
You know what I mean? Look who you're going against. So. He's a joke.
Hey, I can't doubt him, man. He's had some prestige against him, but he picked the wrong one to get one prestige on him, because this is about to be a fun fest for me. When I say a fun fest, I mean it's coming.
What's his name? Del Rio? What is his name?
I think El Nino. It's El Nino. I thought it was a joke when I found out he wore a singlet with emojis on it. And I was just like, you coming at me with this? And really?
He you know, I mean,
it's going to be an interesting competition. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah, I don't know. He's going for that Mexican Jesus look. I don't know what's up with that.
I love it, man. All right, man. So talk about it. Let's talk about the podcast Against the Mat. What started that, and like, was it a bad wrestling event that gets you started to want to talk about the emotions of wrestling? Because that's usually how a lot of wrestling podcasts start. You know, usually one bad show, and they got to get their mind right back in that clearance to actually want to watch the product more and more. Was it that, or were you always in tune like, hey, man, I've always had a love for wrestling. I want to do something that can contribute type way?
Gotcha. So to go there, how it all started, I started the Red Pill podcast over a year ago.
Mm-hmm.
While I was doing, every podcast when you first start, it's very, very slow, But I noticed about 3 or 4 months in, man, we grew like crazy. And so I was watching wrestling, and I just really got back into wrestling the last couple of years, and mainly because I was bored with WWE. And then when AEW came along, it kind of reknit that spark in me. So I started watching more and more, and I was sitting around talking to a couple buddies one day, and they're like, "Hey," because a long time ago, I used to be called the Wrestling Professor, and had a YouTube channel. It wasn't a podcast, but it was a YouTube channel. And they go, "Man, you ought to like work that in your show." And I was like, So I did. I worked in WrestleMania, this last WrestleMania, into the Red Pill podcast, and wow, could not believe the attention it got. And I was like, this is my release. Wrestling's my release. I watch it for fun, And there's so much, like, if you're not a wrestling fan, you might want to look into it right now, because this is the best time I've seen in a long time to be a wrestling. And so the podcast is steadily growing. Ran into Donnie. He came on as a guest because he said he was a huge wrestling fan a couple months ago. He came on, and we kind of have pretty good chemistry. We don't agree on everything, but kind of, well, you've been on the show with us. We have fun. He's kind of a dork, but he's all right, so yeah.
It's always best to actually have a disagreement than the agreements, in my opinion.
Oh, if you like disagreements, just listen to our show, man.
Hey, I agree, man. I agree. Like, I always tell people, man, it's always good to have that debate. Then everything's just settled. Like, everybody agrees to everything. It's just not an in-tune show, in my opinion.
It's not wrestling either. You know what I'm saying? When do you see like Chris Jericho and John Moxley shaking hands and walking around? You know what I'm saying? It's not wrestling. We try to make it as real as possible. So Donnie's more of your he likes the good guys, I guess.
Yeah.
He's very old school, Randy Savage, Hulk Hogan, like that. Me, I've always been a fan of the factions like DX, Aces and Eights, things of that nature. So we're pretty opposite in this business, but when we come together, we've got a pretty good thing going. So he actually bailed on me today, though. He won't show it.
Oh no!
Yeah.
That's a heel turn waiting to happen now.
He acts like he's got to make money or something and work. I don't know what his problem is.
I love it, man. I love it. So, with Against the Mat, so what are some of the things that you've experienced? Like, have you looked at wrestling a different outlook than when you looked at it when obviously you're just watching on TV? Or is there some of the guests that have made you more passionate about podcasting?
Yes. Actually, I thought I knew a lot about wrestling, and come to find out I don't know as much as I thought I did since I've started this show. Basically, like you mentioned, the guest, you're one of them. You know what I'm saying? You brought a lot of things in the indie world to me. Now, I watch everything wrestling, have for probably 25 years. I'm talking New Japan, MLF. I mean, I watch it all. It's an addiction, basically. But the behind the scenes stuff, I never really paid much attention to until I started this podcast. And once I started digging into that, it seems like that love even grew more. But it's not easy, man. It's a lot of research, especially when you got guys like you have guys like CM Punk doing whatever the heck he's doing. You got Braun Strowman showing back up, which should be the Fiend, Bray Wyatt. I don't understand that. But so there's so much going on right now. It's exciting. I just watched Triple H do a hour and a half interview that he did.
That was so dang good,
man, and that was spot on too. So Yeah,
I
I
will
mean,
tell you, I felt so much in tune with him when he was talking about his scare when he had his health problem. Like you
too.
legit could feel that moment with him, and that
Yeah,
like
last
that's
year,
insane.
I don't know if you know this or not. I went through the same thing that he went through. I actually had a
Oh really?
defib. Yeah, man, it caused me. I'm retired. I had to retire because of it. Not allowed to
Mm.
do anything. I had a defibrillator put in. Yeah. And when he was talking about it, I was like, dude, like this is like deja vu. I almost had to turn it off. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah. But he's true about the business. So that's why I think we're getting much more out of WWE. You can just tell in that interview, man, he bleeds the business. So
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. That's one thing I can definitely say. Like I tell people all the time, man, if Triple H is not in one of your top bad guy lists, you don't have a good bad guy list because Triple H is exactly what WWE or WWF was. Um, uh, it, you got to think of this way. There wouldn't been, even the little bit that he did with John Cena. There wouldn't been a John Cena feud without Triple H. Rock. There would never have been, and it hurts me to say it. I'm a diehard Rock fan. There would have never been the People's Champ, The Rock, if it wasn't for Triple H. I mean, Triple H was a great dance partner for Stone Cold Steve Austin to keep portraying and getting himself more elevated up after he did the feuds with Vince McMahon and The Rock. Like Triple H has always been that stepping stone to being that major bad guy to get these guys presented as the top baby faces. So, and Triple H was a good baby face also, which I didn't really like the babyface genre. I think Triple H kind of just he didn't feel like he was his own element to be that good guy either. But he knows the psychology of how to know what the crowd wants. And I think we got the sample of that when he did the NXT standpoint. And just listening to that conversation with Ariel with him was like, it was something to really take an eye-opening moment, take a step back and go, you know what? This is why I became a fan of wrestling. This right here is why I invest in to try to attempt to watch a 3-hour Raw, attempt to watch out all over the place Tuesday night NXT show, or you go to the Friday night SmackDowns, even though they can be a hit or miss, you still attempt to watch it because you are just trying to figure out what's going to be different every single week. And the pay-per-views and all that other stuff. Like you have an investment and you are ready to see this change. And now with Triple H running it, you could see it. I mean, great example, SummerSlam. Triple H finally got to have his hands into a show and you saw the results of what happened. He put his ideas and stuff into that main event with Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns. I mean, who else could have brought a tractor and made an investment out of it and make it one of those memorable moments of the show?
yeah,
And that is one thing I have learned so much when it regards wrestling. Moves don't matter. It's the moments that matter in the match or in around the scenario, stuff like that. Because, I mean, great example. The recent AEW pay-per-view. The only moment you cared about, and I want somebody to come in this comment thing and tell me, no, this wasn't. The only moment you cared about was the Joker being revealed and found out it was MJF.
that's it.
All that crazy moves and stuff in that ladder match, all that. You only wanted to know who the Joker was.
And I've got a problem with that right now. Everybody's been waiting. I've been waiting for him to come back. AEW needed him to come back desperately because they're a sinking ship. And he comes back. He came out because I was like, oh man,
He was telling a story. He was telling you a mind different right because he was telling you, you got to think, because they're trying to build him as an anti-hero. So they want you to invest. Like, honestly, MJF came out like if somebody expected him to come back from with Tony. Like, this is what the Tony aspect of what he wanted with MJF. He wanted that moment with MJF like that. And then obviously when Mox come out and say, hey, man, cut off your BS. And then he goes to take off the Josh Allen jersey, wipes his butt with it, throws it into the crowd like, oh, that's the MJF we see. That's the MJF we know. And I'm going to say this, man. The dude look like $1 million. Like he legit looks like he put in some work. And I think this was, hey man, and I'm gonna say how this all went down. I guarantee you this is how it went down. People can get mad at me whether they want. This is how that whole shoot promo went down. MJF said, hey, bet on me. I have been giving you match after match. I've been giving you moment after moment. Give me a chance to invest in myself. And I guarantee you that's what happened. Tony said, you know what? I'll think about it. And that's probably why he did that thing with Wardlow, you know, build that thing up, make him look presentable. And then the one thing I will say, the best moment, and I think honestly, I think Chris Jericho, one of the big great minds of wrestling, had to come up with that storyline, because I don't think Tony came up with this, is MJF take off for a long time. So it makes the fans give a dang about you, because you were getting booed out of the building in Vegas. You were getting booed out of the building from, you know, from you just supposedly interaction with the crowd, whatever. And I said that is the smartest thing they could ever do, because now you are getting emotionally attached to MJF, even if it's a bad way. Like, you are being emotionally attached to this guy. And I mean, it was a perfect timing. Cody just went back to WWE, got the WrestleMania moment that he's been driving for forever. Like, legit, Cody got his song on it, on Kingdom, not Dashing Cody Rhodes, not Stardust's entrance, Kingdom, what he presented himself to be ever since he left WWE. And, you know, usually the catchphrase is this: me coming, you know, I'm an independent pro wrestler. Am I a WWE superstar? No, I'm only going to be able to be acknowledged as an independent pro wrestler, which is nothing bad, but I never got up to the higher ups. For Cody to come all the way back down and lift himself back up, you got to see that kind of kept a compelling story. Now you got all these guys in AEW, you're like, oh, you know, WWE wouldn't sign us because we signed with the bad guys. You see in that presentation with Cody, now they're looking at it like, hey, it's good now. Vince ain't there no more. The guy that brought me into WWE is there now. And, oh, whatever coincidence, mental health, and, you know, oh, man, I'm not feeling good. I need a release, Tony. I need a release. And you see all these stories come in, you're still looking at it going, what about MJF? Like, when he did that shoot promo, I sat there and said, you know, it was a shoot and it was a work all in one, because you knew what that presentation was. They said, hey, you want this moment? Prove it to me. Take this promo and make it something. They sit there and say they don't write promos in the back. That was a well-written promo. I don't care what anyone says. That was a written promo for what he was supposed to say. And then what he shot on was literally an emotional effect for him. That is exactly how the pipe bomb was in WWE. Because, you know, they just revealed that. Because he was not doing the script that he was supposed to have been saying. But the thing about MJF, if it wasn't a work, they would have shot his mic off the beginning of the talk. Yeah. Literally. They wouldn't have let him mouth off of what he was going to do, especially if he was fully leaving the company. They would not have cut his mic off. I meant let him have that microphone for that long of a time, because Tony is not a great promoter when it comes to having bad critiques, because he's going to go back in the rule books and try to find something why that program was rated, you know, such and such. You beat the old series of Wings or whatever show that's going on that they have to compete against. Like I've said it numerous times. I said it's a good thing that Monday Night Football don't come on Wednesdays, because you wouldn't even care about Dynamite.
Yeah. So I guess I can talk about this now.
Yeah, go ahead.
Some of the, no, I mean, since it's over, MJF's back, and I've known this for probably a couple months. So I was told, it's funny you mentioned that was wrote out for MJF. I actually know these guys are pretty much spot on when it comes to the stuff going on backstage. They've been a lot of help for the podcast and everything. Pretty much Kenny Omega was behind all that. He wrote
Oh
the
yeah,
script and everything.
absolutely.
No, he did. I mean, I'm letting you know what my sources say.
Mm-hmm.
Script and he was behind every bit of it. I didn't know until these guys told me that MJF and Kenny Omega, outside of wrestling, are good friends. I had no idea. So,
Them and Cody as well.
Yeah, yep, Cody is. And when MJF says his best friend Cody, that really is his best friend. Like, so, he took that ring from Cody, turned against him. I didn't know that at first when he was going around saying that after Cody left. And then after research and talk to these old boys that been feeding me information, come to find out, yeah, they're really good buddies. He's actually good friends. He's better friends, they say, with Brandy Rhodes than he is actually Cody. So I guess him and Brandy talk all the time. So.
And I love when Brandy made that tweet because now it's looking really bad for Tony. Because now it's like everyone's not in that honeymoon stage with AEW anymore. Everyone's looking at it like, so what's really going on? You know how like WWE had the Dark Side of the Ring, they're playing right from hell. Don't be shocked if Dark Side of the Ring is going to start interviewing some of the stuff about AEW right now. And the ones that are not going to talk are, your main ones. Jericho. If the thing is not a legit work anymore with the Bucks and Omega, things are really going to start crumbling soon.
Yeah, the Bucks and Omega are suspended. Now they're not on the edge of being fired, but they are really suspended. But they're suspended. They're not going to announce this, but they're suspended with pay. Unlike
they're higher ups, of course they're going to be with pay.
Yeah. Unlike CM Punk and Steel, they're not. And
but here's the funny thing, though. Those guys were told, Tony deliberately said this in a press conference, that all wrestlers were not taking control of the show anymore. It was all him. So you just exposed everything that you lied about to these fans because he sits here and tells you, hey, I'm trustworthy. I'm going to be the guy you can believe in to bring this product to the top level. And now you're seeing more of all these skeletons in the closet that are really revealing that this has been utter BS for a long time. Champion every time. Like, do a battle royal. Like, make that matter or something. Like, y'all have so many different options. Why y'all keep continuing on the... Like, literally, I've joked about it. I was like, it's AET, all elite tournaments. Like, it's legit been that for how many years now? Like, it's gotten so watered down. I'm like, bro, I don't even care to watch a tournament anymore. Like, it's like, holy cow.
AEW is home of the tournaments and home of the interim championships, which I can't stand. Now, the female championship that got won, Toni Storm won it at their last pay-per-view, All Out. It's an interim title. I thought it was the main title until the match started, which I'm not a fan of Toni Storm anyways. I thought Britt Baker should get the belt back, but I don't want her to have it now if it's just, she's got to go through the same thing Jon Moxley and CM Punk went through, which is just stupid.
It's funny to me, like, I see these wrestlers saw this as, okay, you get a lot more freedom at this company than such and such. Like, the most positive, I think, for AEW is you're only wrestling less amount of time a week, which is a great thing. But you're doing the same stuff you did in the bigger product. Like, that's the part that I don't understand. Like, Toni Storm, great example. Tony's sitting there saying, they're bringing back the bra and panties, the bikini type matches. Nah, for a fact they're not, especially if Triple H is running the shop again. Like, you praise Triple H so much. And you over here having an OnlyFans account. And you sitting here talking about, they're bringing you this is back, this ain't me. Like, I'm like, you're bringing out more revealing things on this internet website than they are in WWE right now. Like, you gotta have something balanced with that. A great example, Athena. Athena come in there, she wasn't really doing much with Ember Moon, but she did more than what she's been doing in AEW than jobbing out to Jade Cargill all the time. Like, literally, that was predicted, like, she's going to beat Jade. She's going to beat Jade. I'm like, you're crazy. They're not going to beat Jade because they don't know what the heck is going to happen with her right now. Like, that's the biggest thing. After you continue a streak for so long, After that streak is broke, what are you going to be able to do with this character? What are you going to be able to do? Look at Goldberg. It took him forever to find a refresh button to get that back. In WCW alone, like they had legit take a while for him and bring an impactful return for him. Like they will legit have to figure out something with Jade. Like Jade's going to either have to get beaten down so bad she can't bring herself back up or something like that to even tell a story to impact that to even be an impactful thing. Like those things are what really matters in wrestling. And a lot of people are just seeing this. And biggest thing about AEW is all they're worried about is matches. Matches don't matter. And that's the biggest thing that people have got to get that realization in. You know, it's great to have wrestling matches. It's great. I'm not going to knock it. I'm back in the ring for a reason because I love this damn thing. But legit, you have to find what's going to impact that moment for that crowd. What's going to do the moment that the crowd is literally going to remember you by. Best friends. I don't understand their gimmick, but when they're hugging each other, the crowd's all for it. Like, that's just their moment. Orange Cassidy. I was a big against Orange Cassidy fan, but I actually saw the investment of the character and all that stuff. I got behind him. Like, I just had my friend Alex Kane on here, and we talked about it, and he was like, you know, that's a big gimmick for him. Like, that's a big character for him because just how he presents himself. Like, he makes him like, you know, he's not that big guy, but he legit can go. And it's like you have to push his buttons to even get him to that tune. Like, he says it kind of like a metaphor, like a Dragon Ball Z character. Like, you know how they're at their basic level, then you test them out, then they get to that first, second level of Super Saiyan, then they go to the third and all that. That's kind of like how it was with Orange Cassidy. Like, Orange Cassidy has to get to a limit for him to elevate up to another cycle, and then obviously he just keeps going with it. And that's the biggest thing that wrestling has been so failed on for so long is the character-driven aspect is what you do to invest yourself to watch wrestling. It is not about the matches. It's not about the kicks, the moveset, all that. It's all great. If you want to do that, watch New Japan because New Japan don't have anything regarding the character. It's just time yourself up and go at it. And sometimes that's great. I used to love matches like that. But longevity-wise, that doesn't help you.
No, you're absolutely right. That's why Roman Reigns and the Usos are so popular. It's not what they're doing in the ring, man. It's it's
the impact they're bringing.
The tribal chief, the one. So the bloodline, which I'm proud to be a part of. So
I know you didn't like the Drew McIntyre thing, but I do got to say this: that video package in the opening of it made me a fan of Drew.
What? Oh my God.
No, you got to think, man, with him being at his hometown, like this is legit the first big event they've had since Bret Hart was there wrestling. And, just that moment where they showed from him growing pains. Like Drew looked so different when he first started in wrestling. And then for him to get built up more and stronger and more invested. And then, he took his time on the indies. Came back from WWE, went back to the indies, built himself back up, became a household name at Impact, bringed himself back into that gear, brought him back to NXT, brought him back to a presentation, which I believe Drew is more of a heel aspect. But in that area, that would have been a cool moment to see him win that title because that moment would have mattered as a true babyface standpoint because that's his hometown. That's his genre. Even if he would have lost the title the next night, you couldn't take that from him because he won it in a presentation that would have made him the big household babyface. But I will say this, Roman showcased both of them very well. And that one made them look prestige. And that's one thing I look at in matches. I want to know how the heel is going to showcase the babyface. How's the babyface going to showcase the heel? Like, it's not worried about the match or the movesets or whatever. Like, when Roman showed that face, when he hit him with that third spear, it was either the second or third spear, and Drew kicked out of it, and Roman looked at him and was like, what else can I do? That's when you presented Drew as a true main eventer.
Yeah, Drew's not good enough to have the belt. I'll just say that, and we'll move on. But I know
you're not a McIntyre fan.
He gets in the ring with Tyson Fury, one of the greatest boxers ever, and sings American Pie. I mean, what in the world? What are we watching here? The
crowd was going with it though.
The Gunther match, man, was the best match of the night at Clash of the Castle.
It's a tie between them and Seth and Riddle. It's got to be a tie between them because the match at Seth and Riddle was a storytelling, compelling aspect. Gunther and Sheamus was the old school driven match that everybody's been waiting for a ticking moment to see presented in this era of wrestling again, because that's what would work. You got Sheamus that has been this major powerhouse guy that's the hard hitter for so long, to actually get to meet somebody that's got the same level and maybe a little bit more. And it was just a beautiful ass masterpiece. It legit looked like a movie scene watching these two fight. Like, they beat the living tar out of each other. Like the chops. My gosh, Sheamus's chest, which we all knew that was going to be happening, with as pale as he is. Gunther got some good licks in on himself as well. Like those two. And I said this moment, Sheamus is going to be presented as a really true given babyface after this match. People looked at me and said, "You're crazy. There's no way that's going to happen. Gunther is going to just slaughter Sheamus." I said, "No. Watch the crowd." The crowd got so invested into Sheamus, even though he lost the match. You would have thought Sheamus won.
Yeah, I seen that at the end. Hey, did you notice that I hate calling this, but Butch is looking more and more like Pete Dunne again? Thank God. Hopefully they do away with that character, man, and bring Pete Dunne back. He kind of let it slip on
he's having fun with it. I can tell you he's having fun.
I don't think that was his idea.
It wasn't his idea, but I guarantee he's enjoying it. Like, he's legit. You got to think he's not having a bump as much as he used to. Like, you know, you got to have some of these things. Like, this is how a lot of people got to watch.
What's that?
To challenge yourself to get a role, just to be like, hey, because one thing I learned in the indies, the way you know you're over, you don't have to bump as much. If you don't have to bump as much, you are doing your job, because guess what? Longevity wise, you're getting yourself more presented. You know, the fans are more invested into you because you that utter badass. Like, legit, you are not having to do these certain things. Like, that is how I see Pete Dunne's character right now. You know, he's just that rabid, scrappy. I mean, they said it best. He's scrappy dude in a WWE feature. Like, he's always trying to fight. Like, he's kind of like Pete Dunne, but obviously Pete Dunne's more subtle and he's just going to pound you. This one, he's like, I'm going to go after you, boom, 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 and just keep fighting until you throw me off. Like, they haven't really made him a weak character. That's the biggest thing. It's just the fact that he's in a faction. A lot of people are just not accepting that. But I'm like, he's with Sheamus. And Ridge Holland, he needs a lot of work. So obviously this has been another thing for him to learn how to present themselves. Like, they're giving presentation from overseas wrestlers to show acknowledgement into a United States background. So that's how I see it. I know a lot of people are like, you know, hey, they're watering down Pete Dunne. They're doing this and that. We just got to accept the change. That's the biggest thing. Like, Triple H can't give Pete Dunne the character instantly and be like, hey, you're instantly Pete Dunne again after being butch for like 2 months. You have to draw a story to get him invested into getting back that way. So obviously there's going to be some things that are going to definitely change. And like I've said before, Pete Dunne ain't going nowhere. Papa H is in town. He just got Gargano back. He's got Sean. He's got his boys that he's been watering, helping build up to get into this moment. So just look out. It's going to be a good investment for all these guys, because I'm pretty sure these are going to be the main household names in the next 2 years.
Yeah, Pete Dunne. I'm a huge fan of Pete Dunne. Have followed him for back in UK NXT. I mean, I've followed him a long time. They bring him on there and he loses to New Day is really what turned me off on his new character. Xavier.
New Day, man. It's New Day.
Yeah, they're horrible. They should have been retired or put out of the game years ago, man. I mean, and Rich Holland, he destroyed his career when he did that to Big E, even though Big E is probably the most overrated. Rich Holland, his career is over, man, because of that, I think. People just can't
It
get.
happens in wrestling.
Yeah.
That's the only thing we could say. Like it, anyone's gonna based off of an accident. Like I've said it numerous times. You know, a basic suplex. If you don't cuff them right, you could kill them. You could harm them, like paralyze them, stuff like that.
Do you know?
You are putting yourself into that aspect when you climb in that ring every single day. Like that's the biggest thing. We can't look at it like that because that's like any type of thing. So say like, here's a great example. Say like if you could possibly get run over, and I mean just stepping out of your house, there could be some breaking in your house. It just those moments just accidentally happen. It's sad to say. I'm not sitting there making acknowledgement like, yeah, you know, hey, sad to say he dropped Big E on his neck, whatever. Like it's not like he purposely did it. It's the fact that, you know, it just didn't go well. Maybe they should have worked on it a little bit more. I don't know the true story on it, but the sad thing is it just happened. That's one bad thing about wrestling. I tell people, everybody could talk about it. Everybody can invest themselves and watch it and do whatever, but it's another thing than saying that you could do it. And one thing that drives me nuts with a lot of fans is, and you've heard this vaguely from me before, is I hate when fans sit there and say that they've seen botches. I'm like, have you done it? Have you seen this? Have you tried to attempt to run a rope? Like I've told people all the time, this is how you one even belongs in this business if they can run the ropes right. Because 16 to 18% maybe will not know how to hook a rope, and it could kill them instantly just from running a rope. Because it's a matter of what kind of rope it is. If it's an actual rope, you're going to fall back down. If it's one of those pipe cord lines, whatever, you having to hook this rope and then go. You have to hook it and keep going. Like you have to keep hooking it, or you're going to lean over, or accidentally it'll just snap on you. And if it snaps on you, 9 times out of 10, you're going to probably break your neck if you don't land right or whatever. Like these people don't, like that's the biggest thing about wrestling. You are taking the risk regardless, whatever move, whatever consequence you are doing. We can't pin, oh, you know, he hurt this guy. We cannot do that because that is something that just happens. Right. We signed on to that when we agreed to do a wrestling school. That's one thing that you've learned to prevent to an extent. I'm not saying it always won't happen. Like, obviously, we've looked at it. Plenty of wrestlers. Guys that do the shooting star press. Great example. Brock Lesnar. Nobody knows. Brock Lesnar used to do that in OVW all the damn time. The shooting star press. That was his finisher when he first started in wrestling. That was his legit finisher. You didn't see it until having a WrestleMania, and it fired on. Now, obviously, you don't ever see his ass doing it again. It's just those things. You're going to take a risk. It's not the fact. Like a great example. When I got hurt, I was training with the new guy. Do I have extra heat with him? Do I have extra hate for him because, you know, he dropped me the wrong way? No. It's because I gave him that chance to do it. I had to have this guy. It's not that, oh, I can shun him and punish him like, hey, man, you almost paralyzed me, such and such. No, it's the fact that we are doing a sport that is involving your body. It's involving your health. It's not, there's no longevity to where you're going to be like, okay, you're never going to be sore playing in this sport. Like, you are going to legit feel something when you get done with this sport. You might feel great when you're not in the ring all the time. I will vow for that. Like, me coming back in that ring at first, it was very hesitating at first because I was like, you know, you get to those moments, you're like, hey, is this the right choice? Or is it like that? Because you just haven't been in there for a long time. And I just had a recent conversation with a guy about muscle memory. Like, it took a while for my muscle memory to come back to be like, hey, I could do this again. Hey, I could wrestle. I can run these ropes. I can do all of what I used to do and maybe even better. But I need to find out what works and what makes more presentation for me to look as strong as I was before, make me look athletic and stuff like that. What works also for, like, hey, for me to get these comebacks and stuff like where I'm not totally affecting my neck or something like that. I have to look at it as, you know, this is what you want to do. You have to go all in. I'm not going to get punished. I'm not going to go punish that new guy that literally dropped me on my neck. Like, I can't. That's just not fair to him, and that's not fair to me because I knew what I was getting into when I knew it was a new guy. Rich Holland was a new guy. Big E knew what he was doing. And it just happens. We cannot punish somebody because someone got hurt. Like, that's just one thing I can't accept from anything, because I've had that problem. And I won't ever shun the person that had that hurt me.
Right.
That's the biggest thing.
And when I was saying that about Rich Holland, you know, and I know, but your average fan, you know what I'm saying? You have a lot of fans out there that'll still argue that wrestling's real, you know what I'm saying? So average fan, that's why I said, I do think his career's over. I'm sorry. I don't care. I mean, I feel bad for Big E, you know what I'm saying, that he got hurt, but yeah, it's a part of the job and I understand that. Yeah, man, if you just notice when he comes out, there's no hype about him whatsoever now. So
I mean, you could probably get a presentation if they bring him back, do a little something different. Anybody can get turned. You got to think it this way. Look at Bret Hart. Look at CM Punk. Look at all these guys that you legit did not think could get any praise coming back to something. Great example. Cody Rhodes. Cody was so damn nervous about coming back to WWE because he did not know what kind of reaction he was going to get, what feel that was going to be around him. Like, he legit was nervous. He didn't know, hey, you know, Vince is going to pay the big dollars for him to be the American Nightmare. And he didn't know if the crowd was even going to know what that was. Like, that was the big thing about, you know, staying out of your comfort zone. And less is more, and looking at that impact standpoint. Like I told people all the time, like, if Cody would wrestle a certain style, he would still be here right now. You can't just sit here and wrestle to wrestle anymore. That's the biggest problem. A lot of people got to realize you're not on AEW no more. You are on something that's presenting yourself as a character. Show them what an American Nightmare is. And I'll tell you right now, you found out what that was in that Hell in a Cell match with Cody and Seth. You found out the American Nightmare never gives up. You found out the American Nightmare can always overcome adversity. And literally, he's the blonde-headed John Cena now. And that solidified him. And I even said it numerous times. I was like, you know, him doing that match, that guaranteed him that he's going to get that spot when he comes back. Because if he didn't do that match, he would have probably still got what he was going to get, but he wouldn't have been acknowledged as well as he was that night.
You know, I think they're making a mistake with him, though. I think they should give on Cody Rhodes. I think they should be giving updates, not every week, but
no. Nope. Let it happen. Let it moment show. That's the biggest problem with everybody's got to have. We got to stop the teasers, stop the spoilers, all that. Let that happen. That's the only thing I hated about the MJF segment. Let him show up. Let him take that mask off. Don't let him come on that video and, you know, whatever. Like, that's a cool impact. But it's so much more impactful if you don't know what's going on. Like, everybody had a feeling that was MJF. But I watched a lot of watch-alongs recently just to see other people's reaction. Like, nah, MJF ain't that skinny, though. He doesn't look like MJF does, like, unless if MJF lost 20 pounds. Like, there was still some doubt that you thought, maybe that's not who we thought it was. Like, those are the things that make that impact so much more. And you thought, like, I mean, I love when fans sit there and say they can't be worked in wrestling, and then they get worked in wrestling, and then they're like, I knew it from day one. And I'm like, did you really? Because if you did, you would have not felt that type of way when he came back out. Like, those are the funny things about wrestling as a whole.
Right. Now, if you listen to our episode right before All Out, we went through our predictions for the match, and Donnie, he followed suit, of course, because of what I said. But I predicted that the Joker was going to be MJF.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but when he came out, I didn't know when the devil in the devil mask, when he first came out, I was like, I don't know. But when he acted like he was going to pull his mask off in the ring, I've seen him do that move before.
The finger, yeah,
like this, you know, like he was going to do it, and I'm like, that's MJF. My mind was made up. I knew who it was. Yeah. So.
But the biggest thing, also, what people doubted too, and I said it at first, was he don't need no fat. He doesn't need a manager. He doesn't need all this stuff. So that's where another thing, I think that was in the process of it too, just so, it wasn't a given like, oh, that's MJF. Like, obviously, if you followed Ring of Honor, you knew MJF and Stokely were real close. And that's the only way you would have known that, though. Like, you would not have known that from an AEW audience because Stokely's only been with what? Jay Cardell. And, now he's ramping up with all those with the new guys and whatever. Like, you legit wouldn't have known that. So that shows you people how they're getting their knowledge into wrestling and stuff now, because I think that's a smart thing and a bad thing at the same time, because AEW is trying to show representation of Ring of Honor with all their old Ring of Honor guys. They have them praised, they come out their old entrants and all that stuff. But it feels like Ring of Honor is getting more progressed than what AEW is now.
It's funny you bring up Ring of Honor. Here's my issue. Either kill it or do something with it on Ring of Honor. I loved Ring of Honor.
Man, he was wearing it like a trophy. That's all it is.
Yeah, I mean, just kill it or do something, They had that pay-per-view. It was decent, You've got Samoa Joe. He's done with the movie career or whatever, so he's back. So do something. Put it on television or just shut it down, man. Jesus.
I think they do have a television deal. I'm not totally sure if they do or don't.
Now, I heard that right before the last pay-per-view that they had, that working with the Bleacher Report, and Fight TV. But man, you know how long ago that's been. So
I don't know, man. The way that things are going down right now, it's a tough thing to deal with. It's a hard thing to keep running. And for them to keep selling these buildings out and all this, like I said, the honeymoon stage is over. And a lot of people are starting to read their BS. The biggest thing is it's going to be the challenges. Is Tony really going to make these changes? Because I've said it from day one. This should have been focused on independent wrestling. When you brought all these new names and stuff, Cody didn't do all this. Like, Cody brought Bryan and Cody brought Moxley. Cody was against CM Punk. Nobody knows this. Cody was against bringing CM Punk because he knew what Punk brought. He knew Punk was going to be there for himself. For you to grow a company, you need people that are going to want to be a leader and a team player. Punk is not a great example. I will say out of anybody, Moxley got the most benefit out of AEW. Because Moxley proved to me, from this aspect of just him in All Elite, that he can be a legit wrestler. Like, I'm being honest with you. Like, I never was a Dean Ambrose fan. I thought he was a one-trick pony. I thought he was a real skinny Mick Foley. And, I saw that with Jon Moxley. I'm looking at him like, bro, you're the same character that I saw already. Like, you're legit not changing my mind. But just seeing the growth that he has done there than what he got to do in WWE, stuff he's done in New Japan and all this stuff, like, you could tell he's having fun. You could tell he's enjoying himself. And I still say it to this day, Moxley's going to be back in WWE eventually. Yeah. But people are going to get mad about it, but it's going to happen. It's just a matter of if it's going to be a war or, WWE buys him, whatever. But it's like, I will say the most benefit has happened is for Jon Moxley because he presented himself as a main eventer. And I'm telling you right now, man, anybody can say whatever they want about Chris Jericho. Chris Jericho is still one of a kind.
Yeah, you can still go. You mentioned Jon Moxley. It's funny, on Dynamite, MJF turns tail, right, and leaves, and I don't like that at all. He shouldn't have.
The heel aspect, man. That's what he's always been known to do.
I got you. But he's got a faction now, and I don't know why they didn't jump Jon Moxley. You know what I'm saying? I thought that was their storyline. The only thing I can figure out is John gives such a great promo after that, after MJF left the ring, that they probably just like let it simmer, leave it alone. Because pretty much saved the day. Yeah. Purely. So.
I mean, Moxley brought a presentation that still needs to be acknowledged. Like, look, Moxley, Bryan, Jericho, all these guys, they put their chips in one bag. And this has got to work for them. Like, honestly, I mean, obviously all of them could wrestle somewhere, but as a big company standpoint, This is what they've been gambling on. This is still, people get mad at me. AEW is the minor leagues. Get mad at me all you want, people. AEW is the minor leagues.
Compared to WWE, yeah, of course.
It legit is. Like, it's, and I sat there and said, you know, AEW has officially become the C show, and people get mad at me when I say that. I mean, how am I wrong?
Even
like, still, like, it's been a hit or miss. And I'm not saying because, you know, oh, I'm pro WWE. No, I'm saying as a wrestling fan aspect. Like, it is presented wrestling not in a very positive way to me. Like, wrestling moves have not mattered in this company, and it's made me pissed. Like, I've been hit with super kicks. It's the art of how you sell it. Not because you put it in an opening of a match. Not because, oh, you know, it's a cool thing to do. Or chops. I've legit hate seeing chops now because of just how people don't sell this stuff anymore. Like, it is made, and I even had some average fans watch it with me. And I was like, I want y'all to tell me y'all's perspective on this. And I'm like, it looks so fake to me. And that's what hurts me when I hear stuff like that.
Shawn Michaels made a career on super kicks. So
exactly. And he never pulled back.
No.
Never pulled back.
No. And I used to hate that on Ring of Honor in New Japan. They called it a super kick party. And I'm like, come on, with the Young Bucks and everybody. I'm like, dude,
yeah.
That's a finishing move. You know, it's just like the F5, you know, WWE, they're horrible for too. Hit them with 20 F5s or 20 spears or whatever before you can pin them. I mean, it just, you know, maybe the Fiend, because he's supposed to be like supernatural, but just your common wrestler. I mean, come on.
I mean, it showed presentation. I mean, as much as people got mad about the Fiend and Goldberg thing, at least Goldberg didn't do it once. That's the biggest thing. If Goldberg did it once, that was a bury.
Right. No,
but he did it 3 times.
Yeah, don't misunderstand me.
The major plan is Rock and Roman at Mania. So the biggest question is how they're going to get there. Is Roman going to be the champion? Rock going to be facing him? Because if Roman's getting the champ, facing the Rock, 9 times out of 10, Rock's probably going to lose. If Rock and Roman are facing each other and there's no title involved, Rock is going to win. Like, that's how I'm seeing it. But, I mean, Rock has always never been, hey, you know what? He can go over. And I don't think about it until now. I'm like, man, Rock never said that much on no and disobeying on like, hey, you know, you can win this match. Like, it's not gonna hurt him. And I looked at it, I was like, damn, like, yeah, that's a great storytelling aspect to a representation of a match. And obviously with Karrion Kross back, I think that's going to be a cross tie into something. I think Drew and him are probably going to do like a triple threat with Roman or something. That could be a good way.
Drew McIntyre needs to go join Sheamus's little club or something and get out of the title picture, man. I mean, come on. Karrion Kross needs one of those belts.
Necessarily doesn't need it. Just give him representation that he's acknowledged in the main event scene.
Yeah, I think he needs it because I think they need to do something for the disaster of his first pull up to Monday Night Raw. So, yeah, that's just.
I agree. But there's the thing is, the title doesn't make the person. The person makes the title. And what Roman has done with the championships, we can't get mad about this. Roman has made prestigiousness to those titles. Like, Roman has legit made you watch this shit like a UFC fight match. Like, you're like watching what was a good one? Oh, Conor McGregor. Like, you're watching Conor McGregor, and you're literally watching this to see if Conor McGregor gets beat. Like, you're legit watching Roman matches to see him get beat. But if he wins, you're still a fan of Roman because you love the investment of what Roman is doing to present that championship. Like, oh, man, he almost had it. Like, it's like watching somebody play against Tom Brady. You watch Brady to get beat. And then when Brady wins, you get mad because you're like, dadgummit, we were all so close to beating Brady. Like, it gives me that old school, you know, with Ric Flair. Nobody watched Ric Flair to watch him wrestle. You watched him to get beat. Like, 90% of the fan base, I can tell you right now, watched Ric Flair to get beat, not to win. Like, you paid your ticket to see Ric Flair be that one moment that you see Ric Flair lose the match. I think that is what is so good about Roman right now. And Roman has showed so much true representation to the Usos. Like the Usos have stood out way more than what they've ever done before, because Usos now have representation like, hey, we're not just a basic tag team. We're legit the tag team. Like with them having their titles, like they've been, I'm sorry, man, they've been putting some bangers on with Street Profits. They've been putting it on with, obviously, you give them a match with New Day, that's like crystal clear weather sometimes, because it's just like they just clicked so well.
New Day,
I mean, huh?
New Day needs to retire, man. The Usos,
man.
tag team out there right now. They're part of the bloodline.
Last shout outs, last plugs. Guys, all the links will below. Follow this man, check out his podcast, and pretty soon I'll probably hop on there one more time again.
On twice, and we need you back on right before you fight Andrade or whatever the hell his name is. But yeah, so Against the Mat Wrestling Podcast, check us out. But if this is your first time listening to Warren and Buzzing with Marlowe, guys, this guy's awesome. If you want to learn about the sport of wrestling from somebody that's been there, I definitely recommend this show. So, and once again, man, I know I said this before, but thank you for all your help with our show and just being a good guy, man. Appreciate it.
Hey, man, that's what I like, helping people, man. That's just been the art of me forever. That's probably why I'm not a millionaire, because I care about other people around me than myself sometimes. Sometimes I just got to realize that's one reason why this match means so much to me, because it's for me. It's not for anybody else. I'm legit doing this for myself. And that is the best thing I could say on this. That's why you see the training videos be insane. That's why you see me look like how I look, because I'm putting everything into doing this match. And, and the funny thing is I'm probably going to look way more muscular than the guy I'm wrestling, but I am putting every effort into doing this, because this is something that I think I need to do just to close the chapter. And if I can close that chapter and be happy with it, that makes me appreciate and be able to go higher up. When I say go higher up, I could close that book, put it in the shelf, look at it for the archives, and say, I'm happy how that went. That's how I want this to go.
The Prodigy versus the female Mexican Jesus. That's what I see. So you got this, brother.
I appreciate it, KY, man. Guys, thank y'all for joining us. This was a great episode. KY, man, you are more than welcome. Come on, anytime. You just let me know. We'll set it up, man. Good luck on your show. Guys, check out his new episode. Check out all the great stuff that he's got going on. Check out the crew as well, man. They are great. They do amazing. Man, I appreciate this, man. I hope you have a great rest of your day.
You too, brother. Thanks.
All right, man. Have a good one.
You too.
All right, guys, time to get the go home cue. First and foremost, I'd like to thank the KY guy himself to come on today and chatting with us, talking about the world of pro wrestling, talking about his awesome podcast. Guys, if you haven't, go check out the Against the Mat Wrestling Podcast. It's one of the Kentucky's best, man. One of the Kentucky best, man, is the Kentucky guy, man. Awesome chatting with him every single time. I've been a guest on his show, I think, at least 3 times so far. So this was his first time coming on with us. So we've been trying to really get that one set up for a while. So I'm looking forward to the next chat and the many, many more. Love the support that he always does for us and the podcast itself. So it was just a blessing for him to come on and talking with us today. So guys, if you are new to the channel, if this was your first time ever listening to this wonderful voice and watching this awesome episode, make sure you like, share, and most importantly, subscribe. Hit the notification bell to stay in contact with all our platforms, just to name a few: Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, LinkedIn, Snapchat, Tumblr, all social media handles. And obviously, follow us on all audio platforms as well. You could catch on a good almost 77 platforms, man. I Googled it recently, just looked at some newer ones, and it's crazy to see how much How many platforms we're on, man? It's insane, just insane. But you can name. I'll name the a main majority few: Spotify, Anchor, Google Podcasts, Podbean, Podchaser, Podvine, um, iHeartRadio, and obviously gotta talk about it. Amazon Prime, guys. We're on Amazon Prime and Apple products and on Good Pods. So definitely a good select few. Just go subscribe, follow, and get you entwined in good with Buzzing with Marlowe. Guys, this is episode 110. I'm excited. This is just a big weekend for me itself, me being back in the ring. Also, guys, that's right. I want to talk about that show a little bit more again. I will be in Thomas County, Georgia, at Thomasville, Georgia tomorrow night, and Thomas County Middle School for Solid Rock Championship Wrestling's 7th annual event. This has been going on for 7 years for the anti-bullying event, and I'm facing the one and only. He used to call him the censored one, the broken hip one, and all this other stuff. But tomorrow, the fortunate one to being on the tour of Prodigy's Welcome Back streak. And when I say the welcome back streak is I'm coming back full force. I've put so much into being this character again, getting myself to the size and level that I know y'all deserve to see AP back at. I'm super, super pumped, ready to go for this match for real, guys. Y'all don't know. I am so excited for it. Obviously, guys, we got my boys, the Hurricanes, going toe to toe with Tallahassee's own, the Seminoles, man. Florida State versus Miami, my favorite rivalry of all time. Just because I'm biased, I'm a Miami fan. But we need this win more than anything, especially how this season's been going. It's been wishy-washy. We need a win at FSU to this weekend to make it solidified for a good season for me. I go all out for these games. Usually what I do on Buzzing with Marlowe, we do an episode, with my boy Marcus Jerry, and we talk about, the history of Miami, history of Florida State, because Marcus is a Florida State fan. Don't worry, guys. We'll be getting Marcus back on here really, really soon, and we'll have the My Own Bias Opinion editions again. I know it's been well overdue. We're definitely getting those set up in the works. I've got a lot of great guests coming up as well. Let's do some major shout outs to some podcasts. I want to shout out to, Tino's Time. This guy goes on here and streams wrestling every single week, sports, baseball, football, and I'm pretty sure he'll stream basketball pretty soon. Check him out on the YouTube link, Tino's Time. Great dude, great knowledge in the sports, and very consistent, guys. I will say that. Most consistent guy I've seen in a while to do live stream every single week. And very interactive with the group. Very, very open with everyone. Like, do surveys, you do votes, you do raffles and stuff like that. So check out Tino's Time. Check out my boy, my commission bros, Dre on Wheels from the 1130 podcast, and my boy Shiz the Blackheart Lansky on Off the Top Ropes podcast. Also check out his content for Thursdays for WrestleNary. That one's an awesome game show. Basically, wrestling fans, if you believe you have very good wrestling knowledge, hit my boy up and get on WrestleNary and see if you can win the OTTR WrestleNary champ. Right now it's by KB. KB been taking it. I know Mike. I heard the knock. I think Mike DeLorean's coming back, and I think he's coming for a championship run. It's like what Shiz be putting that video of. Open the door. Mike Denario is right at the door, and I'm pretty sure he's ready to take that title back. And I might be popping in just very soon as well. But guys, I'm so blessed, so humbled, so thankful for everything that's going on, everything that's been in my way right now. Shout out to my family more than anything for the patience, especially my wife. We've had a rough couple months. Um, this has been a real tough time for her and her family. Most importantly, um, but for her to stick it and still be by my side for this, that means the absolute world to me. Um, and just I'm not trying to get too emotional, but guys, thank y'all for watching. Support the podcast, go on the bonfire shop, bonfire/Buzzing with Marlowe, and get you some merch. We are doing a Thanksgiving giveaway. That's right, guys, a Thanksgiving giveaway. If you are I will say, I will pick a random subscriber on Twitter. I'll pick a random subscriber on Facebook. I'll pick a random subscriber on Instagram. I will pick a random person, whoever shares our content, and they will win a free, I say free, Buzzing with Marlowe merch. So see if you can see that person. Go share, go get all the knowledge out, because that contest starts now. All right, guys. This has been another great episode of Buzzing with Marlowe, and I will see you when we are got more down the road. Later. And I am ready for this. I'm about to put the mask on and kick some boot. I'll see all y'all down the road, man. Later. Love y'all. Be safe.
What's up, everybody? This is your boy, Mr. Red, White, and Blue, American Prodigy, and I just want to let everybody know the tour has started. There's time to go. Thomasville, Georgia, November 5th for Solid Rock Championship Wrestling's anti-bullying event. I will be there, and I will see all of you. And that's one thing, and there's majorly one thing that I cannot stand more than anything on this planet is a bully. And I definitely looking forward to this. So November 5th for Solid Rock Championship Wrestling, I will be at the anti-bullying event at Thomasville Middle School. I will see all of you there.
Welcome. What's up, everybody? Welcome to Buzzing with Marlowe live. I'll say it again, live. I hope all is well. Happy Friday. Guys, most importantly, guys, what's up? How are y'all doing? It is Friday, but if you are new to the channel, guys, make sure you like, share, and most importantly, subscribe to all our platforms, just to name a few. All social media handles, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, LinkedIn, Snapchat, Tumblr, and many, many more. Type in at Buzzing with Marlowe, and you can follow us on all socials. Or you can also check us out on Almost Audio all over the place, guys. Now that we're officially on Apple, we are on a total of 77 platforms, just to name a select few that we are very highly popular on: Spotify, Podbean, Good Pods, Anchor, iHeartRadio, TuneIn, Podvine, Podchaser. See if I can get a couple more. Buzzsprout, Google Pods, Amazon Prime as well, guys. So check us out on there. Just type in Buzzing with Marlowe. Follow us, subscribe to us, and get you all set up and up to date on to all our seasons, all our episodes, man. I am looking so forward to today. Guys, as y'all can see, the delts, they looking a little stacked. We look like we ready to go. That's because also, guys, even though it's Hurricane versus Florida State weekend. Oh yeah, by the way, guys, beat FSU. Literally, it's a lot going on this weekend for me. I'm very excited. If y'all didn't see the opening of, starting the episode, I will be in Thomasville, Georgia tomorrow night. Thomasville, Georgia at the Thomas County Middle School. I'm ready. This will be the first time in almost 5 years that I am back in the ring. I am ready to do this, guys. Bell time is at 6 p.m. It is at the Solid Rock Championship Wrestling Promotion. We are wrestling for the anti-bullying event. As you can see up there, guys, that is the card we have. The one that I will be a part of, the match that I will be going against one-on-one is none other than one of a former friend of mine, a brother to me almost, is Mr. Fortunate One over there. Me and him are going to go one more. And I'm telling y'all right now, guys, if you have never seen us wrestle each other, come out to see this one. This one's going to be an interesting one. We're both coming out. We're both really getting back into this grind. I don't know if Wesley is going to be able to do much more of these as it is, but for us to actually have this match is going to mean so much to both of us. Wesley's got something to prove. I've got something to prove. So it's going to be a very interesting competition. It's going to be a back and forth one. We basically know each other's moves left and right. It's going to be an awesome bout. But also, guys, let me pull that flyer up again. Thomasville, Georgia, and Thomas County Middle School. We are having TRL. My boys, Totally, Romano, and Logan. They are in a ladder match that night. We got Tenali coming in here. If y'all haven't seen her on the bigger promotions and stuff, there's the Cheese Man himself is on this card as well. And also there's going to be the retirement of JC Fury. And Jared Michaels is on this as well, the Southern Rock heavyweight champ. Obviously, it's going to be a good card, really exciting. It's good. I'm more excited knowing that I'm back in this game. If everybody don't know my past, I shouldn't be doing this. I should not be able to, especially after what I was told, almost 5 years ago. Doctor telling me, hey, your body's not holding up anymore. Like, you cannot be doing this much longer. And for me to be able to go to the doctor and prove them all wrong, it's just a beautiful thing to me. Guys, if you don't see me on podcasts and stuff, everybody likes to look at me as like a motivational guy or something like that, man. I'm just myself. I refuse to hear quit. I refuse to hear the word no. I refuse to just, bend over for anybody. Like, I am legit. I give 110% at almost everything I do. I give every possible way of, accomplishing a goal. If I can achieve it, I'm putting my all into it to do it, just to say I did my best. This one right now is to really get myself back into that wrestling background. I've been training, I've been in the ring, but now it's different when you're on the show. And what less fortunate to go one more. That's pretty interesting, exciting. I'm so ready. I got my appointment to get a little bit bronzer for this show pretty soon, right after this, actually. And I'm going to be heading up to the gym again to get right, just my final, mainly focusing, going to work on is like cardio and stuff. So that's the only big difference about this week compared to all my other training times. I'm literally, so since before this week, usually what I always do on my show days is on show weeks is I literally will cut out carbs. I will literally do light weights, more reps. It's been a little different now, but it feels so much easier in ways too, because it's just like, okay, I've been lifting heavy for a while right now, and I haven't been really sore, so just been really taking care of myself and really getting myself back in this element and prepared. So I'm very excited about it. I am ready. I am so freaking ready. Y'all don't even know. Also, guys, y'all can check us out, get you some merch on our Bonfire shop, Bonfire/Buzzing with Marlowe, and get you some awesome merch. Just a little bit of snippets right here, guys. You see the V-necks. You got black, blue, green, gray, and I think white. As y'all can tell, you can wear it to the gym. You can wear it on a date night. You can wear it just around the house. They're very comfortable, guys. Very comfortable. And also, we got our hoodies as well. Can't go wrong with these, man. Wintertime is coming. We just had our Halloween just this week, so it's coming. Wintertime's coming. Even though I live in Florida, it's going to get a little breezier nowadays. But it's going to be pretty cool to see. It's going to be fun. But guys, go to the Bonfire shop, get you some merch, support the podcast. I mean, I greatly appreciate it. Yeah. Also, guys, we got Crown Jewel this weekend. It just got moved. WWE pay-per-view, basically, they go to Saudi Arabia once a year, and that's like a big payday. Big payday, guys. If you don't know, like, that payday right there, that one show will make you very happy with the paycheck. But they just got informed that it will now be in Orlando at the Performance Center. So that's going to be interesting. I think the tickets just got on sale yesterday. Actually on Wednesday night. So obviously it's going to be a packed crowd. I don't think it's not going to be. It's going to be different, from Saudi Arabia to going to the Performance Center. I think it's to make it easier for the wrestlers too, because most of them live in Orlando. Most of them live close to Orlando, so it's like a home area for them. So that's going to be interesting to see. I'm excited about the card. Obviously, we'll just name a little bit on the card. We got Logan Paul versus Roman Reigns. That one's going to be interesting. Also, we got Bray Wyatt going to be aired for Crown Jewel. So it's going to be a cool thing to see. The match I'm looking forward to the most, Brock Lesnar versus Bobby Lashley. I mean, this one right here, I am so pumped to see this one. This one's going to go in so many different ways. I'm excited. This one, I'm locked in. I'm just ready to see these two clash. It never go wrong. Obviously, we got Drew McNtrye versus Karrion Kross. That one's going to be very interesting to see. Exciting. These two did very well with the strap match that they had at Extreme Rules, so I'm excited to see what they're going to bring with this one. Obviously, with it being in the steel cage, nobody can get interfere, but that don't always work either. We also got, if y'all didn't check out the commission talks for the Uzi Wednesday special, we got the Usos versus the Brawling Brutes this Saturday, man. Tomorrow. It is going to be interesting, exciting to see. Also, guys, the new time for Crown Jewel is going to be at 4 p.m. 4 p.m. The new Crown Jewel showing will air on Peacock. And obviously, guys, we got Bianca Belair, the SmackDown and Raw Women's Champion, going against Bayley. And that one's going to be interesting for sure. My bad, it was Raw Women's Champion. Bianca Belair versus Bayley. If you want to see my predictions, go check out Commission Talks this last Wednesday. Just went by. We gave our Crown Jewel predictions. And if you agree or disagree, go check it out. Go check it out. Also, guys, we covered on Commission that Jim Ross is cancer-free. Round of applause. Congratulations to Jim Ross. I hope you can stay healthy and, cancer is completely gone. That's a wonderful thing to hear for him for sure. Obviously, guys, tonight I'm looking forward to Young Rock coming back. This is just a little snippet of what to look forward to when it comes to Young Rock this season. The Nation's coming in involvement with this one. His time as a WWE champion, his run with the Intercontinental belt. I think the Stone Cold feud and with Triple H's feud as well. And then obviously we're going to go back and talking about, some of the Miami Hurricane days still. I'm pretty sure knowing that Miami versus Florida State is tomorrow. I'm looking so forward to it. And there's also a rumor going around that there is going to be a Marvel and DC crossover. I'm excited to see this. Everybody's been doing the, Marvel versus DC thing for so long. So why not make a film out of it and see what you can make the best of it? Also, guys, on Wednesdays, check out the Commission Talks. That's right, guys. Myself, my boy, Shiz Blackheart from OTTR Mob, and Mr. Eric the Joker, the new one on the group, and of course my boy Dre on Wheels from the 1130 podcast, and we are Commission, and we have our Talks episode every Wednesday on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. Check us out if you want to hear the realism of us giving opinions about the world of pro wrestling. We acknowledge going talking about WWE, we talk about AEW, we talk about New Japan, we talk about MLW, we talk about it all. If you like pro wrestling, highly recommend to check out the Commission on Commission Talks every Wednesday at 5 p.m. Eastern Time. All right, guys. We covered everything that's going on. Now let's talk about now. This is episode 110, baby. A round of applause. 110, 110, 110. We are there. We are there. 10, 10, 10. That's right, guys. We got episode 110. With me getting back in the ring tomorrow night, why not bring a podcast? Bring a wrestling podcast as it is. I'm talking about the Against the Mat Wrestling Podcast, his own heel man himself, the KY guy. That's right, guys. Kentucky guy is here. He is going to be chatting with me one-on-one, talking about the world of pro wrestling, talking about his podcast, talking about what got him into wrestling, what got him into podcasting. Talk about transitions of, being able to control a character. And we're also going to cover, why he does not believe Drew McIntyre is a main eventer. So, guys, sit back, relax, enjoy this episode that is about to be brought to you. But we're going to go to a quick commercial break. Very, very quick. And then when we get join back, the countdown will go 30 to 1, and we will be joined with Mr. KY Guy himself. And ladies and gentlemen, that starts right now.
With Batsy. It was just last night, as the entire country was tuning into its favorite talk show.
Kill you simply makes you a stranger.
VMAL. It contains strong language and is intended only for mature audiences.
Don't even know why I'm watching, cause it ain't funny when you ain't here. But I know you're going away, so I'm watching so we can stay. Yeah, I heard you trying to protect myself. I ain't making excuses, I'm just letting you know I understand why you live. It was toxic back for your health. You're trying so hard to love me, but I really couldn't love myself. I need you to patient, baby, with times of whole time I really felt like I wasn't enough. Deleted all of your pictures cause I can't stomach the fact. After all that we've been through, my baby, not coming back. I swear that I'll go down crying while I'm writing this track. I swear that I'll go down crying while I'm writing this track. Got more words this. Day one popped out, ain't nobody in this motherfucker fly to me. These bitches all in my DM, texting them back was good, but I ain't really trying to see them.
He said he accepted, and you know what? Nobody wants to see it. Because nobody remembers the American prodigy. All this history, and nobody cares. But if you could find one, that's all I'm asking. If you could find one promotion that wants to put this on, I'll be there. I will be. There's no running. There's no running. Not at all. I will be there. Right in the center of the ring. You versus me. And then when I beat you, you'll understand that maybe wrestling wasn't for you. Maybe this is a good new career change. You're a podcaster. You're an influencer, social media.
What's up? 38 pounds.